Charles Cross stands out in what was otherwise a pretty mediocre week for the young players on the Seahawks. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. We have made it to Tuesday, just waiting for these practices to start this week so we can start to figure out who might play, who might not play, who are we getting back, what is the situation with some of our better players. I know what people are waiting for, but for the moment, we're not going to get clarity. I don't expect to learn a lot about injury availability today. We know that McDonald likes to hide stuff whenever he can anyway. So let's continue to process what happened last week, and let's continue to try to understand where this team really is going into game number 7 this week. So it is Tuesday, so we do Youth Watch Tuesday. We just check in and see how the young players are doing, go through the list. And it wasn't a very good week for most players on the team. So that's going to include the young players, right? Not to say they were all bad. And there are definitely some things you can hang your hat on here, but a rough week is a rough week for the whole team, and there's certainly no exception here. So let's go through the list, but before we get started, I hope you like this video. If you do, please click the like button down below. It helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. Okay, so let's start with the running backs here, and I mean, Walker actually ended up getting a lot of touches in this game. He had 22 because he also caught the ball a lot, but production was just not really there. 69 yards on 22 touches. He did decently well as a receiver, I guess, but even a decent chunk of that was at the end of the game when we were down and just trying to claw back in, and I'm not here to dismiss those contributions, but they're not really what you want from a guy like Ken Walker. He did get in the end zone, so he's on track to get in the end zone a lot this year, and that's great, but it was probably his worst game of the season that he actually played in. 83.3 PFF grade, which is obviously still really good, but it came down a lot this week, over 5 points, and I think that's reasonable. He didn't run the ball that well. I don't think it's totally his fault, but I don't think he played great in that regard. And he did have that really bad penalty that took the Metcalf touchdown off the board where, like I said, after the game, I don't know what he's doing there. McDonald's comments indicated that it was just kind of a penalty that he had because he wasn't focused or something. Like he did that because he thought that the referees would be lax about calling that. And I don't know why you would think that, but yeah, I mean, it's a dumb penalty, and it's going to knock you a little bit for sure. Now, Charbonnet, obviously, he doesn't get the ball as much when Walker's in there. It was 6 total touches, I think there was 1 catch for 35 yards, which is not bad or anything, but it's also not really impacting the game all that much. The main thing that stood out to me positively with Charbonnet would be he had a really good pass blocking score on a decent number of pass blocking reps, so that continues to be probably the best part of his game. PFF score did drop a little bit, but a lot of players had their PFF score drop a little bit in this game because it was a bad game. So it's still a really great 1-2 punch. You can see we're 6 games in. These two combined have 140 touches and combined over 700 yards. It is a 1-2 punch that very few teams can match. 9 touchdowns, by the way, also, while we're here. But not their best game. I'll put it to you that way. Wide receivers, JSN, I think he had, 5 catches in this game? Yeah, 5 catches for, what was it, 53 yards. It's decent, right? But again, how many of those catches were at the game when we were just trying to play catch-up and claw our way back into the realm of competitiveness? And, you know, every now and then, JSN needs to have one of those games like he had against New England. That's been really the one game in his career, that Patriots game, where he just takes over and produces at an elite level like you would expect to see from a star receiver. And he's not a star receiver, and maybe he shouldn't be yet. He's 22 years old. I understand that. But that was a great opportunity for him to maybe step up because Metcalf wasn't in on it. Metcalf wasn't there. Like I said, the running backs played okay, not great. Maybe there was an opportunity in that game for JSN to be the guy who puts the team on his back a little bit, kind of like he did against New England. And it was just decent. And he fumbled, by the way, and that's why his PFF grade went down. He was miserable run blocking like he pretty much always is. So, JSN, it's, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself on JSN because he is still 22 years old. But we need to start seeing some of these games where he's just unguardable. We see slot receivers do that in the NFL sometimes, right? And we've seen it really once in his career. He's had one game in his career where he just looked relatively unguardable against New England earlier this year. Let's see that more. I mean, you can see the numbers. He's currently on pace for a decent season, but given the fact that we've seen this drop-off in usage with Tyler Lockett, it doesn't make a lot of sense that Tyler Lockett has been probably... Actually, I don't even think probably is the right word. A better player for the Seahawks so far this year. That probably shouldn't be happening at this point. Okay, moving on from that, Bobo, he had a catch in this game. Not really too much to report. You know, he produced. It was a decent enough game. But to me, the big problem with Bobo right now is he's not on the field enough, not for his catching, but for his run blocking. Our receivers can't run block. Bobo's the one receiver on this team that can run block really well. Let's get him out there just for that. But he's up to 8 catches on the season now. Okay, he had 2 catches in this game, it looks like. So, I mean, not productive, but you wouldn't expect him to be, right? There's enough going on this offense without Bobo. I just want him out there for run blocking. And A.J. Barner, he had a catch in this game. Pretty unremarkable game overall. Yeah, 13-yard catch. Still continues to be, you know, another guy who, because of the lack of ability to run block from the top players at the receiver and tight end spot, Bobo and Barner probably need to get out there just for that. Like, I know they're not as good of weapons as the other players on this team, but we need some outside run blocking. And, you know, I made that video earlier this week, or actually last week now, talking about the problems the Seahawks have running out of 11 personnel. And some people, I think, misconstrued what I said. I know teams don't run that much out of 11, but the problem is we don't really do it at all. And when we do it, it's not effective because of the players we have out there. Bobo and Barner could help with that. Okay, offensive line now. I mean, Charles Cross was probably our best young player in this game. He was graded out really well from Pro Football Focus. He did pick up a couple penalties. Some have noted that one of his penalties was declined, and the other penalty he had was not really his fault. It's one of those plays where he's moving downfield expecting the screen, and the screen doesn't come out as quickly as he thought it would. He did allow 3 pressures, but no sacks. I mean, it is a pretty good game overall. I will say that I don't know, given how this season has been going for the offensive line, and that includes him, I don't know if I totally agree with the 86.2 grade, but he did play well in this game. I mean, left tackle's not an easy job no matter how you slice it. Allowing 3 pressures in a game where the team drops back to pass over 50 times, that's going to be respectable. But he's no longer this unstoppable juggernaut over on the left side like he was for a little bit. Forsythe, I mean, it is what it is, right? Forsythe, he's going against Bosa. He's going to get punished. Gives up 10 pressures, which I can't defend it, but at the same time, I'm not going to kill him for it because it's Bosa. His grading actually went, I think, up a little bit overall this week, which, I mean, that tells you how much he's struggling, right? His overall PFF grade went up this week, which tells you how bad he's been. But he's doing what he can. And I'm not going to drill him for it because, quite frankly, I think any other third-string right tackle in this league would do the same thing. Christian Haynes, run blocking grade fell off a cliff, even though he only played 8 snaps because it was that bad. Grade overall slipped a decent amount, which, again, small sample size. Again, my thing is, Either play him the whole game or don't play him at all. I don't think this rotation is helping either guy. Speaking of which, the other guy, Anthony Bradford, 7 pressures allowed in this game, which I don't care how many times we threw the ball. You're a right guard. You shouldn't be allowing 7 pressures in a month. 7 pressures in a game from a right guard in any circumstances, pretty humiliating. His run blocking grade actually, what was it? Yeah, it went up in this game. His run blocking grade was not terrible. His overall grade remains dragging the bottom of the ocean, although, again, like with Forsyth, it went up. He's been that bad so far this year. But if you want to rock with him, rock with him. But again, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Haynes. I don't care if it's Bradford. I don't care if it's Lomia. But let them just play the whole game. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Moving on to the defense, Murphy's out. Morris played and actually got graded out decently well, boosted up to a 51.4. But he only played like, what was it, 8 or 9 snaps, so nothing meaningful. Cam Young, 2 snaps, PFF grade 44. Nothing really to say. Young linebackers didn't play at all. Mafe and Hull did play. Mafe didn't play a ton. Neither guy was graded out all that well. I think Mafe picked up, like, what was it? Yeah, 5 tackles. And then you had Derek Hall picking up 1, which, given how much Hall played in that game, is probably not okay. But both these guys are probably at less than 100%. I get it. I understand it. Not going to kill either of them right now. They both still played well this season. Remember, Mafe's missed a game or 2, so that's factoring into why his overall numbers are a little bit on the lower side. But neither guy was very good in this game. They both got pressure, but they were completely unable to turn any of those pressures into, like, super meaningful pressures. It was all just kind of slightly, excuse me, impactful stuff. Okay, cornerback. Moving on to the corners. Woolen does not play. Excuse me. Wow. Witherspoon, according to Pro Football Focus and my eyes, played a good game. Picked up 5 tackles. Boosted his PFF grade to 75. He's almost caught Woolen now, by the way. Still not really making plays on the ball, but that's because they don't throw at him. He got thrown at once that whole game. So he's definitely doing his job out there, playing better after a little bit of a slow start to the season. Not playing better from the early part of the season would be Trey Brown. He had another brutal game. Picked up 4 tackles, but his PFF score dropped 3 points. And he didn't get destroyed in coverage, but can't say he's doing much right overall right now. And when Woolen gets back, and I think we got a good chance of getting him back this week, he's going to continue to be the guy that teams really try to target of that group, for sure. So, step up or stand down, I guess. Pritchett played a little bit in that game and was graded horribly, mostly because he can't tackle. His grade's below 30 now. No real comment. He shouldn't be out there right now. Only reason he's out there right now is all these injuries. By the way, Trey Brown, I include among that group. He did get injured in this game, forcing Pritchett out there. So that's something that's part of the equation. But neither guy's really performing all that well right now. D. Williams somehow has an almost 81 special teams grade, which I don't know if they're just completely ignoring the punt return and kick return stuff with him for that grade, if it's just like coverage stuff. I'm guessing it has to be. So, however PFF does their special team grading, that seems to be a little counterintuitive, just putting that out there. Kobe Bryant picked up a tackle in this game, played a pretty decent amount, and actually his PFF grade went way up, almost 10 points, because they did like what he did across 8 or 9 snaps or whatever. So, not bad there, I guess, but it's not meaningful either. And Jarek Reed's still out, although that could be changing very soon. All right. That's it for Youth Watch Tuesday. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys later today. Go Hawks. More videos coming. But, yeah. We got a lot of fun, good, quality young players on this team. But this last week, not their week. All right. Catch you guys later. Go Hawks.